Have you ever spent 20 minutes writing the perfect text to your ex, only to stare at your phone wondering why they haven't replied? Maybe you've rewritten the message 3 times. Maybe you've checked whether they've seen it. Maybe you've convinced yourself that if you could just find the right words, everything would change. The hard truth is that most of the time, those long emotional messages don't bring people closer. They often do the opposite. Not because your feelings aren't real, but because when someone senses desperation, it can create more distance instead of connection. And that's why the most effective messages after a breakup are usually the simplest ones. Before we get into that, it's important to understand what's happening emotionally. Breakups are difficult because you're not just losing a person, you're losing routines, expectations, future plans, and a source of comfort that became part of your daily life. That's why even when you know the relationship is over, part of you still wants to reach out. You want relief. You want answers. You want certainty. And chances are, your ex is dealing with their own emotions too, even if they're handling it differently. Most people assume their ex has completely moved on while they're the only one struggling. That's rarely the full story. The truth is that after a breakup, both people are usually adjusting to a major change, even if they don't show it the same way. Which brings us to something most people get wrong. They believe the goal is to send a message that makes their ex miss them. But the real goal is to communicate from a place of self-respect rather than emotional panic. Because confidence is attractive. Desperation isn't. So let's talk about 3 types of messages that tend to work better than emotional paragraphs. First, the simple response. If your ex reaches out with a casual message after a long period of silence, resist the urge to turn it into a deep conversation immediately. Sometimes a simple response is enough. Something like, "Good to hear from you." That's it. No hidden agenda, no emotional speech, no attempt to force a certain outcome. One of the biggest mistakes people make is revealing everything they're feeling the moment communication resumes. A calm response shows emotional stability and leaves room for a natural conversation to develop. The second type is the life update message. This isn't about making your ex jealous. It's about showing that your life is continuing. For example, "Hope you're doing well. I've been keeping busy lately and working on a few things I've been putting off for a while." Simple, honest, no pressure, no manipulation. The message isn't, "Look how amazing I'm doing." The message is, "My life didn't stop after the breakup." And that's a powerful thing to communicate. The third type is the closure message. This one isn't for everyone. But sometimes, after enough time has passed, people benefit from expressing gratitude rather than resentment. Something like, "I've spent a lot of time reflecting on our relationship. Even though it didn't work out, I learned a lot from it. And I'm grateful for the good moments we shared." Notice what's missing. There's no begging, no guilt, no attempt to reopen old wounds, just maturity. Sometimes closure isn't about getting someone back. Sometimes it's about finally letting go. And ironically, that's often when people become the most attractive version of themselves. Not because they're playing games, but because they've stopped making their happiness dependent on another person's choices. If you're watching this right now, be honest. Have you sent a long, emotional text to your ex recently? Let me know in the comments. And remember, the message itself is rarely what changes everything. What matters most is the emotional state you're sending it from. When you stop chasing validation, stop trying to control the outcome, and start focusing on your own growth, everything changes, whether your ex comes back or not. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more psychology-based insights on breakup recovery, emotional resilience, and moving forward with confidence.